it's striking to me that it has this kind of oh no aspect of it. Like you're going into harm's way. You're launching yourself into harm's way. I always like kind of think of the runner making a run as, you're voluntarily being shot out of a cannon into a bunch of things that can deal damage to you.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
spikes or something like that. And as you're doing that, you have to come up with a way to stop it. It's like it's exciting, it's exhilarating,
And it's
and
not
it's fun.
like it's nothing like the combat or the dynamic in really any other game.
No. No, I can't think of a game that's quite like this. Well, there's no combat. I mean,
Well, the
it's simply
conflict, right? Like the
survival.
way in which you parse out conflict with your opponent is so different in this game.
Yes.
Or rather, just no other game lets you interact with your opponent in quite the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Going for it, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. So, did you remove things from the? Oh, you're still doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm,
Hmm.
oh boy. Let's see. Blackstone keeps its strength. That's nice, but it costs 3. Oh, that sucks. Um. Sure. Any other reses?
No.
Hmm. Oh, MBT. Okay.
Interesting. Left the Adonis, huh? All right, I'll res the Adonis. I feel pretty good about that.
Sure. You had 19 credits. Me losing 3 credits was worse than you gaining a bunch of credits.
Sure.
Interesting.
20 credits is about is kind of a deceptive number. Whenever I'm at 20 credits, I feel like oh, I can do anything, but after you spend a bunch of money from
Oh
you'll
no, your mic cut out.
yeah, just for a second there. Sure, I'll let you in.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I see. I dislike Maryland campaign quite a lot.
Tell me why.
Because it breaks. It shuffles your deck,
Mm,
and if it shuffles your deck, then you can give the opponent free new cards on top.
you can. That's true. You don't have to
Um,
trigger it.
what are you talking about? It says when if a Maryland campaign is trashed while installed, oh, you may shuffle it in R&D. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
it's not mandatory. Okay,
yeah.
that's better. That's somewhat better. Let's do this. Let's run archives and pump this thing. Let's run archives. Pump this thing. Been looking for that. It was in the last 9 cards in my deck.
It's a
Oh
good
well.
card.
Hmm.
Is there any particular reason you're using, Blackstone as opposed to something more traditional?
Um, just influence.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. You got a lot on Lucky Find, presumably. Yeah, there's 6 on Lucky Find, 7 on Employee Strike, up to 9 with the legwork. It's quite a lot.
It's a lot of influence. Yeah.
Do you find individual cards inspiring?
It's a good question. Inspiring how?
Do they strike you as cards that, really speak to you, that you want to build a deck around, that you want to explore and see what they do? Do they get stuck in your brain and like really make you chew them over, or do you just kind of linearly look at them and say, this one's kind of better than that one on a mathematical level?
Um, a little of both, I think. The things I like about design in this game uh, are when cards have new rules that aren't affected or aren't detailed in the rule book. So
Hmm.
like the card defines its own rules. So like Film Critic's a good example for that for me. It's like it hosts an agenda when you access it. It's like no one said you could do that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's nothing in the game that says you can host agendas on things. It's like, oh really? It's like you don't just steal it. It's like no, you can. There's like a bigger portion of the access phase. Like oh that's cool. So I like how cards do that and they teach you more about the game
Mm-hmm.
and how it's actually it works on its nuts and bolts level. That really makes me excited. Um, so yeah, I like that stuff. I some of the cards like I don't like linear cards all that much. Like the new Estelle Moon card, I actually dislike the design of that card. It's simply a better version of Alex Talbot or whatever. Or
Yeah.
no, maybe not Alex Talbot.
Yeah,
The
it's Alex Talbot.
is it? Yeah, yeah. Like I dislike that. And Mobius is another example. It's a strictly better version of the Shaper
Sometimes I
version.
don't mind strict upgrades. Like if the first version was not strong enough, right? Like, and you upgrade it, no harm, no
Yeah,
foul.
I guess, but I think it works in a collectible card game. I don't really like it in this kind of a game because the cards all fit their own niche.
They do.
Um,
There are cards that are just objectively not playable because they don't function in the scale of the economy of the game.
sure.
Like Monolith, I think is a good example of that. tell you what, I'm digging those mumbads. Seems real strong.
Like that. I like that play.
Hmm.
So Turing's a good example of that. Like, Turing sets up a different sort of paradigm, right?
Yeah.
Cannot use AI programs to break it. That's just phenomenal. Like, I actually don't know why there weren't more of those programs or sorry,
More of those
ICE for
ice.
a long time. Yeah, it's 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 a great idea. It's also really cool to have things that are higher strength and lower strength depending on the server they're in. I
Mm-hmm.
really like that
I do
aspect.
too.
I wish they did that more with HB. Like,
I
there's,
do wish they would do that more with all the factions, honestly.
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. It's a cool aspect. Makes the game interesting. Not that the game isn't interesting, it just makes it that much more interesting.
Right.
Pardon me. Yeah, so I mean, I like that stuff. Things I don't really like in the game. I'm actually not a huge fan of stealth, even though I'm playing stealth in this deck. Like, stealth is weird to me. Who's this?
I'm a fan of stealth.
You're gonna brain damage me? You're gonna be real sad, buddy. Um, so I just need 1, 2 stealth to get through this.
I've pretty much come to the conclusion that I'm not taking.
Not taking that deck.
I actually expect to see quite a bit of smoke, or at least I have a suspicion that there's a fair bit of it that should be in the meta.
Yeah.
And I am surprised to an extent that there isn't any.
Well, this deck just loses to Caprice. That's his big problem. Like,
Sure.
it's it doesn't have any way to deal with Caprice. It has to like go somewhere else and hope. But you have like Crisium Grid, so you probably don't have Caprice. Um, so that's good for me. But if you had like one Caprice, I'd be in trouble. I'd have to go R&D. So I don't know. Like it. This is a kind of an all-in smoke deck. It's just goofy. I don't think it's very good. I think it's okay. Are you going again? And rolling the dice. Rolling the dice. I don't think that's an agenda.
I am surprised that they haven't printed an anti-stealth card because it's just so kind of obvious.
Well, for me, the problem with stealth is that it's not it's not always inherently better than normal breakers. It's actually not inherently better. It's a lot of them are terrible. 2 credits for 4 strength is actually pretty good for like Houdini.
Hmm.
1 credit for 5 strength is pretty good, but Blackstone is awful. 3 credits for 4 strength.
You
You
get to
might as
keep
well
it for
just
the remainder of the run. That's kind of important.
you do, but you're still paying up front a lot. Um, it's okay. If it was 4 strength, I'd say it was easily one of the best fractors in the game, but it's not. It's 3 strength, so it's slightly worse than every other card. I don't know. It's fun though. But I don't like stealth because the way they designed it, it's weird. So let's think about stealth as a thing. So it requires other bits to make it better. But once you have those bits, it would be better than a normal breaker. Well, that's all well and good, but it wasn't like that. So they added cloaks, they added, ghost runners, and those
And
were
then
good.
eventually NetMercur.
And then eventually NetMercur. But what it did is basically NetMercur just pushed it over the edge. It just said, this is such a good resource
Yeah.
that you are obviously going to run this in a stealth deck
You can't
because it's so good. Like it gives you money. It just infinitely reproduces money. It prints money.
It's
So
Desperado.
yeah. So it just becomes a little weird to think about how, um, whoops, didn't mean to do that.
That's fine.
Hold on, how do I do this?
Go down by 3
Counter,
credits until you want to play an operation or event.
hold on. Counter C1. Oh well. Didn't mean to do that. Meant to do two. So I have one on one of the
Sure.
voice pads. Let's draw two. Let's gain three.
NetRunner has really pushed me to
So I'll use the last one.
sure.
One of these. Draw two. Gain three.
Competitive Netrunner has really pushed me to um, I don't I don't necessarily want to just say like be a better person because it's
Okay.
kind of a bland statement.
That's okay. I mean, it can do that.
It can. I do really enjoy the challenge, and a lot of the challenge for me has been very psychological.
Hmm.
It can be really frustrating to not do well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it because the games are very exhausting mentally.
Hmm.
There's a lot of math you have to do. There's a lot of consideration about what the opponent's doing.
And
It's a
how they're going to be
complicated
able to
game.
like punish you in a few moments.
Yeah, for sure. Like
And you're also
so
really helpless. You can be really helpless. You can find yourself in this situation where, it's the third round of Swiss and you're in a matchup that you have no idea how to win because
yeah, I
of
think that's a new issue. I don't think that's a core Netrunner issue. I think in core Netrunner up through maybe maybe through Mumbad, that never happened.
hmm
Like the only time you would be in a situation where you couldn't win was if you just had a really bad deck. But
sure.
if you played like a semi-competitive deck, you had a shot. But I think now, especially, it's much different. Like there's really no way around it. Okay, what do I do here? I think we're gonna gain some money because gaining money is good.
It's always good to gain money.
Um,
You have many money.
I have the monies. I'm the money man.
I'm not gonna resent.
Okay. Uh,
One card that recently has just been kind of on my mind a lot is Savernus stem implants.
I like that card a lot.
I It's made me think about, you know, what the designers have got to go through to.
Didn't res it.
Yeah, that was a blunder.
Do you want to res it?
Um, I probably should. Do you mind?
No. Here.
Has made me wonder what the designers have got to go through to make new cards, because we don't get like a lot of like twos for twos in this game.
Fair. That was fair. Um. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. Sorry.
That's fine.
Oops. Let me just take a credit instead,
Sweet,
or draw a card instead.
sweet.
Okay. Hmm. Money.
Um,
Hmm.
this type of math can be really weird, right? Like,
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think there's anything your math can do at this point. Like I have 32 credits effectively, but actually I have 34 credits because every time no, I have 32, but then if I run again, I'll have two more credits or something ridiculous.
yeah,
Because
something strange, yeah.
yeah, it's the way that NetMercur messes with your math is silly.
It's really hard to tax them out.
Yes. So we'll
I could run
match.
just like pure centuries, right? I could run nothing but centuries.
That would be actually very irritating.
I don't know if it would be good in the rest of the matchups, though.
Their child 3.
Oh boy. Here we go. Dagger's real good. There you go.
Yep.
GG.
GG. Yeah, I figured you probably drew an agenda second click that last game, or maybe even
That last
third
turn.
click. Yeah,
I don't actually remember. What makes you say that?
because you drew, and then you drew again.
Hmm.
So, well, you probably drew it last click. So, if you drawn it second click, you would have slammed it into the server. But if you had one in hand, you would have just installed it
Yeah.
and gained money or something. But uh, because you didn't, I figured there had to be one in hand. So, or if there wasn't one in hand, there's most likely one on top of R&D. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 9 agendas in the deck, so there's 4 more and 11 cards
Yeah.
probably. So the
Right.
odds are really good for my a Maker's Eye, which I was holding. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's another Chrysium Grid on R&D, but I'd have to go through it, trash it, and then I could probably make a Hail Mary.
Yeah. I think you could have pulled it out of RD either way.
Hmm.
Let's go to the other side.
All right, I'll switch it. I got a sweet Ag Infusion deck. You want to play against that?
Sure.
I haven't actually.
Is it implemented in JNet?
I have no idea. No idea. I just put it together. Probably not.
I don't even know what Ag Infusion does. Going to find out.
Might not be good.
It's some weird like ice moving around shenanigan, right?
It makes you run on a different server. So I don't know if this is implemented, but probably not.
Once
So
per turn,
we'll just.
instead of rezzing an approach piece of ice, you may trash it to choose another server. The runner
Yep.
is now running on that server and encountering the outermost piece of ice, if any. Am I going to keep my hand? Sure, yeah, seems good. So you're weird.
I'm weird, but that's what my wife tells me.
I
Uh,
mean, what are wives for if not to tell you you're weird?
exactly. Exactly. Good start.
Yep, feels pretty good. Not the very best.
Oof. Seems good. Ooh, well. I don't actually know if this deck's any good. Just FYI. I think it might just suck, but
You seem to be doing fine right now. Beth Beth is a card that
It's a card.
is really good.
Yeah. Hmm. How does this deck do anything? I'm not exactly sure how this deck's supposed to work. Like I think it might be bad. I think the ID might be bad, but I think it has some potential, right? I mean, it's kind of like an RP that's harder to use. Oh wow. Okay.
In what sense do you mean?
Um.
In the sense
Well,
that like you can just like burn your because you have to yeah, right. You have to burn your clicks to make the runner go somewhere else. It's once per turn, right?
once per turn, but I have to burn my ice. I have to instead of resing an ice, I direct you to a new server that, and you encounter the resed ice there. So if it just deflects you, it's not so good. But if it deflects you and does something really bad to you,
That's really
that's
good.
really good. Yeah. So that was what I was going for with this deck, but it might not be good enough. We'll see.
Why did I draw a card?
Because you're getting a click because I have 19 credits.
No, I drew a card
You
because of
did. You drew a card because
Astrolabe.
of Astrolabe. Yeah.
That seems to be incorrect, right?
No, that's right. I made a server.
But it says they that you
You used Astrolabe to draw a card, and I when I installed Ice, protecting new server.
that seems wrong.
No, that's correct. I made a new server.
Okay.
So when I made put the Ice there, it made a new server, and so Astrolabe triggers.
Oh, you installed Ice twice.
Yeah. I installed Drew.
Gotcha.
Probably should have drawn first. Always draw first.
Usually wise.
Indexing. Okay. You're lucky that wasn't a DNA tracker, FYI. That would have been real bad.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
Unless you had Deus Ex in your deck or something.
See, it'll cost me 4 to install Corroder. That'll leave me with 3. Not enough to get in.
Nope. I'd leave you with 2. Unless, oh no, you have smoke. Yeah, so you 3. Yeah, 3. Not enough.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not going so bad. I'm still waiting for the Temujin to hit the board. And you won't have to worry about fighting a deck like this at Nats because it's not out. I mean, it is out, but it's not going to be legal.
Well, I think that this deck is probably it's although it'll be like its own unique flavor, it's probably pretty similar to like a lot of the other Jinteki Rush stuff.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to Polana. You can probably see like 1 or 2 Polana people.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of anticipating a couple Plana. Um,
I have like Nisade for worse though. Like Nisaying you to go down to 2 credits is pretty mean, but I won't do that to you. I
Yeah,
have
that's
done that
true.
before.
That's true.
It's just like sometimes you go down to 2 and you're like it takes you 2 turns to recover. You're like ah ha ha, it's pretty brutal.
I'm not even sure I really like running all these self-modifying codes. I often like don't even actually need them.
Actually, can I take that back?
Yeah, go nuts.
In case you're wondering what that thing in server 1 was, now you know.
Yeah, but now you have way more money.
I do like Cold Read. I think Cold Read is a sweet card.
Right? It's really fun.
It's a cool card. It's powerful,
I actually honestly
and
didn't expect it to be in Shaper. I expected it to be in Anarch.
hmm, I could see that. It is kind of anarchy.
Oh, I mean, it's so much like Stem Hack. I am surprised that Stealth didn't get spread across the factions more as the game went on.
Sure, pretty good. Bummer.
Yeah, it doesn't feel bad.
Um,
Whoa.
yeah.
That feels okay. Feel even better if I get some points. Go fliggity flam. Once per turn instead of resing a piece of ice, huh?
Mm-hmm. So you have yeah, okay. No reveal.
Sure. Strength 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any strong feelings about Ninja versus Switchblade?
Ninja versus Switchblade. Ninja.
Not Ninja,
Dagger.
yeah, Dagger.
Um, I think Dagger is pretty neat. It's okay. Like I think Switchblade is better,
Calling Sentry
but
on that, right?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh no, I shouldn't. No, 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 no. Shit.
You should.
No, because you can't pump it. You're not gonna pump it. You just. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Right, but
It
if
doesn't
you
matter.
if you name like Codegate or Barrier, I don't have to spend the credit from NetMercur.
You don't have to. Oh no, you do. Oh, you're right. Yeah, you do. Sorry, I was still thinking like it was like cloak or dagger. Yeah, yeah. So that's correct. That's correct. So I got to spend one more. Excuse me. Sorry.
I'll go ahead and break.
Sure.
Okay, okay. Um,
Hmm. It's not good.
no, not the best. I will go ahead and draw a card and feel pretty okay about it. Interesting. Let's get that agenda and let's play this card. And now let's run R&D again, I guess. Another one. Eli's back from his timeout. Kafliggity flam.
Wow.
You've got to
Okay.
get lucky in Netrunner
That,
to win.
that was pretty. That was extremely unlucky.
It was.
I have 20 ice in the deck, and I didn't draw very many of them. And we saw four agendas, and I fast tracked one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was extremely unlucky. There's like a whole row in this visible open R&D thing that has no agendas in it.
Mm.
There's like tons of space. Wow,
It's slot machine. It feels like a slot machine. When
that was weird. I should have just ended it. Oh well.
yeah,
Mm,
maybe.
I should have.
I think you're right because you're about to score another one.
Hmm.
I think you're absolutely right on that one. Do you want to play some other games? You had mentioned that you've got a blue sun floating around.
Sure. Yeah, I do.
Let's jump into that. You're gonna be blue sun. There we go. I think I'm gonna run this. One of the other decks that I think is really out there is Siphon Anarch.
Mm.
I'm thinking about taking Smoke to Nationals, but maybe I'll take Siphon Anarch instead. I've tried to play Blue Sun before, but I always get really slowed down reinstalling stuff over and over again.
It's a bit tricky. DDoS. You know that costs 3 extra influence now.
I do.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
If I siphon you, will I die potentially? Yes. Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Get off my lawn, kid.
I know, right? Pesky kids with their Pokemons.
Hmm.
IPO is a card that's really changed the game.
I think I don't know if it's changed it. It's made the game a little bit more favorable to like, I don't know, big corp strategies. Oh, I guess you could have actually. Oh no, you couldn't have. You had
I
it
couldn't
on.
have broken it.
Right. Jesus, come on, deck.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Now it's you who's getting off my lawn. Trashing boom. I think I was a little underwhelmed by the trashable operations.
Uh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about trashable operations.
I think that their power level is still relatively high, right? Like the fact that it's trashable has bumped its power level, but it's still relatively high, and you might not get to trash it. You can go ahead and fire all that. And that balancing act has not been incredibly successful in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hand it to them. They've tried a lot of different things.
They have. That's true.
I was trying to think of like all the different breaker suites that have been printed the other day while I was riding home from work,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I was able to get them all.
All the breaker suites. There
So
are a
like
lot
the
of them.
yeah, right, like the dogs and all those different cycles. Woo! Woo! Does installing this help me at all? Not really.
Fire?
One second. Go to 6, and then no, I kind of completely go broke just to not. Yeah, go ahead and fire it. So you really want to do a bunch of net damage. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Installing?
Um, no, go ahead and fire that. Wow, that's pretty lucky.
Hmm.
Ooh. That's not good. Looks like I live another day. So I'm gonna sure gamble, and then I'm gonna run on this server. Okie dokie. Then I'm gonna run on R&D.
Sure.
Alright, this leaves me with very little opportunity to win the game, presumably.
Gonna win this turn.
Or trash at least 2 booms. Maybe you have Scorch and I can live some other way. Let's start by running R&D and see what happens. That doesn't do anything.
Matt was in here.
Yeah, he was.
Didn't say anything.
I think he knows what's up.
Yeah, he knows what's about to happen.
Let's check HQ on the off chance I can find something. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh,
Bam. Nice job.
GG. Yep. En passant is so. Oh,
Yeah, it's real punishing.
it's really punishing. It's a good card. I like it.
I do too.
It's just you don't see it coming. Like most of the time, you're like, oh, no res. It's like, and then your ice dies. It's like, oh my
Uh,
god, I had plans with that ice. Like, why did you do that?
as
You
opposed to a lot of
jerk.
the other cards though that trash ice, it kind of asks the corp to trash it in a way. It gives him the opportunity to res it most times.
Yeah, it's particularly good against this deck that has a bunch of huge ice, and it doesn't res
Right,
early.
right. En passant also, it can't hit res stuff.
No.
And I think that one of the biggest problems with trashing ice is that so much res stuff gets trashed,
Hmm.
and then you're just like, I lost money, right? Like, what really happened is I lost money.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's yeah. I kind of feel like, wow, my agendas were really lining up for you. Actually, they were on the way. Uh,
Oh well.
yeah, that was weird. Oh, I guess that's after the shuffle. Never mind.
Yeah,
But
no big deal. Cool, cool. Is or
this
is
is kind of
go ahead.
the deck I've been thinking about playing. It's very like it looks like Boot Camp Glacier,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it has a lot of damage in it actually. It's got all the tutoring, you know.
Yeah.
Does it have all the tutoring? Yeah, I think I just put two in now. Three. Now I have three. I have three consulting visit. So
Zapper.
it's
You got a zapper in there.
a Zapper.
Sapper.
Oh, Sapper. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Sapper. I actually might take that card out.
It
I don't
definitely should be zapper. Let's be real.
Zapper. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's sure.
FFG. Come on. What slouches?
Well, Sapper is isn't it someone who
Is that like a
uh
technical term?
yeah, Sapper is someone who sets mines or it is a mine or something like
You're
that.
you're absolutely right. A sapper is a soldier responsible for tasks such as building and repairing roads and bridges, laying and clearing mines.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
One of
I'm
those
wrong.
weird things I didn't know I knew. Um yeah, I mean, I like the card in general, but my draw was Sapper and Curtain Wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one does nothing because you have no programs, and the other one I can't res because I don't have enough money. So it's just lose lose, right? So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking it out and putting in a vanilla or something else, like anything else really, just like some tiny little ice that will stop you, make you install breakers.
As compared to the trashable operations, I like the trashable ice.
I like the trash ice too. Yeah, no, I think Sapper's cool. Like that's well designed.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's been needed. In fact, it could be three strength and be fine. And probably nowadays it could be four strength because no one's playing Mimic anymore.
Right.
How many people play Mimic? It's like everyone switched over
Yeah.
to what is it called?
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra. Yeah, it's not like it's more efficient. It's actually not. It's just more reliable. You know.
Right.
Uh, so I guess reliability is better in this case, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's an okay ice, and yeah, it just always happens to do that. I always draw it when I don't want it, like first turn. And I'm also like kind of down on Mausolus right now. Like I think Mausolus is a fine ice,
Oh,
but
Mausoleum is not. Yeah, I thought you meant Hortum. Hortum is nuts.
Hortum is amazing. Hortum is probably the best Wayland ice, flat out. The best Wayland ice.
Mm,
It's just so good. Yeah, I can't think of a better Wayland ice right now. Like I don't even consider Archer better than it. Like Archer is good, but I don't know. I don't even play
I,
Archer in this
I,
deck.
I, I hear what you're saying. Um, Hortum doesn't. I guess
Hortum
it
is
depends on what you
effectively
mean by like
UI.
the best ice, right? Because no ice really fills all of the roles. But for the role that it fills that role amazing.
Yeah. Well, so the cool thing about it is first it's four strength. Like Mausolus was great because it was five strength, but it didn't end the run.
Hmm.
It still did a lot of good stuff, right?
Right.
It's actually they're very similar. Like they basically cost three. Like everyone lets the corp gains one fire,
Yeah.
and they just either break the other ones or whatever. So Mausolus is a good tax. Sometimes it gets them for a damage and a tag, and that's just great. But it doesn't end the run. But Hortum ends the run, and it gives you a buck back, which is just great. So it's like they
Yeah.
have to get their stupid breaker out, and then they have to go and try and break it. And by then, you can put a sapper in front of it and feel good. Like that's why
Hmm.
Hortum's so good. Um, like if Mausolus said instead of give the runner a tag, it said end the run, it would be way better. Like
It would be extreme.
it would be the best ice Wayland had, and everyone would play it, and it would be splashed in other
Hmm.
factions,
Yeah.
even if even at three. Like I think Hortum is reasonably splashed in other factions, but the problem is that other factions have good code gates. Like they don't need this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
Wayland was really, really hurting for good code gates, almost unnecessarily, for a
yeah,
really long time.
yeah,
Do you want to hit up one more game before we get
yeah,
out of here?
absolutely. Yeah, sure. You want me to run this time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'll try something else.
Not sure I'm gonna play that particular deck. Hold on. I've got the table ready.
Okay, I'm just looking at my runners because I haven't messed with them for a while. Um, yeah, we'll try this. Oh wait, I need one more card. Dang it.
Vic
That happened.
YYC, VKYYC. It is very, very taxing. It's a lot like Architect in the sense that you can't just run through it over and over again. And of course, Dedication Ceremony turns the card on in a way that's really attractive.
Okay.
All right, hopefully these edits stuck.
I hope everyone's enjoying the stream. Hey Chuck, what's up? I will turn on the TV.
I'm gonna mulligan this hand.
Okay. Um, yeah, keeping this hand. I've been getting very good hands. It usually never happens.
Nope, that's wrong.
R&D?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It feels like
Seems good.
in a game like Hearthstone, you can kind of feel like you misclick, but in this game, it feels like the cards just slip out of your hand. Temujin contract, so good.
No one ever plays this card. Uh-oh. 8 credits. What could that be? Do I want to find out? Not really. So this is another deck you're thinking about playing?
I had been thinking about it somewhat more than I am now. I'm kind of off of it though.
So I have to make a successful run? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, okay. Um,
No, we are not playing Cash Refresh at the moment.
weird res for me. I think that's a very, very, very aggressive res. Oh, okay. I
Did you
see.
not lose 3?
Oh, yeah, I didn't. You can look at the top card.
Yay.
Sweet. Sweet. It's a weird
Hmm.
place to put your toll booth, I'd say.
Um, uh, Temujin is just nuts, right? I kept you off of 12 Temujin credits.
Sure.
Seems important to me.
You can look at the top card. Show me agenda. Just kidding. Um,
Tapworm. No. I think I'm gonna purge it away because that thing's
all
killer.
right. Feels good.
Yeah, I bet.
You can look.
No. Tap farm is nuts.
Look again. I don't actually care if you see the top card of R&D. Do not move it down. Okay. Let's do it again.
Oh, do I look at the top card?
Yeah, yeah. I see.
You have so much money.
Clones are funny people too. I don't know. R&D. Let's see. Let's get some cards here. To R&D. More money.
Look at the top card.
Yeah, it's fine.
I guess your thought there is that I'm going to see it eventually. You're about to see it, and it can only help you if I move it.
Yeah,
Essentially.
if you move it, it delays the game and gets me back into it. So if you move an agenda to the bottom, which it wouldn't matter because I was testing anyway, but if you did, it would slow you down. Potentially, you could draw into money, but I mean, I'm getting money. I'm saving $1.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I don't know. What's that?
Hmm.
Ooh, juicy brains.
They do look very tender in those little cylinders. Ripe for whatever horrible shenanigans Shinteki has in store for them.
I think it's funny. It's like brain trust. Like I guess some idea of you're saving brains as opposed to like a trust, you're saving money, like a
Right.
family trust. So there's just brains in a jar.
Or maybe
Just
somebody
it's
donated these brains to Jinteki. Maybe somebody's been
yeah.
like cloning themselves over and over and over again over a period of years, and now they finally.
But is a brain trust a thing? Is that an actual thing? I don't actually know that.
I mean, let me, dear Google.
You can Google it.
A brain trust is a group of experts appointed to advise a government or politician.
Oh, cool. So
It has a
basically,
Wikipedia page.
you can look, by the way. That's kind of funny. Hmm. Interesting. So Wall of Thorns is an interesting include. I don't know how I feel about it.
What I did with this deck is moved the DNA trackers to toll booths.
Okay. But DNA Tracker is pretty much Toll Booth,
It
but
is.
better most of the time.
Toll booth ends the run, and scoring behind toll booth is kind of theoretically easier.
That's true. It is. Yeah, Toll Booth is it's still really good. Abagnale kind of like beats it, which is kind of nice. But
It does. This will be interesting when you run again, if you run again.
hmm. Sorry, I'm doing some math.
No, no, it's fine.
Just thinking about things. This is indexing's hard. Um,
I agree. It's one of the most it when it doesn't just win the game or just like give you a huge boost in points, it is incredibly skill intensive to utilize, right? Like usually you've invested a little bit more than what you've invested now, but it still takes a lot to get right. I have actions here. Go fliggity flam.
hmm, you got it.
I think that seems pretty right. Kaguya instead of Wall of Thorns. That seems pretty good.
Um, I don't know. We'll see.
Kaguya seems really good in Tenon.
No look. Don't look.
Okay. Well played.
Just waiting for your okay.
Hold on. Thanks for scoring the medical.
Yeah, it's fine.
Bam!
I kind of wanted you to score it.
Because of Aaron.
Let's see.
You finally started to dip down a little bit in money.
Yeah, I got locked out of that one Temujin, which kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm. I thought about it. See speaker. I thought about it. This could be really painful for me. I think the main reason that I didn't go for that particular play is because I'd like to I'd like to just get the points now and then worry about the clones a little bit later when it's a little more convenient for me to set up. Ouch. Seems real good. Probably should have done that, you know, slightly different.
Me?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, just because you could have kept the card if you hadn't done it on your turn.
Oh, oh, I don't care. Yeah, I guess so, but it doesn't matter that much. Hmm.
I'd rather be siphoned for 3 than, 4 or 5.
You say that.
It's true, right? You're back up in money again. That seems real bad for me. You just indexed too, right?
Hmm.
And you know this is an agenda?
No.
Oh, you know it's a caprice. Ooh, well played.
I think I'm pretty good. So the caprice you just drew is pretty useless now. So there's one caprice left, and you drew it.
That's true.
Let's go HQ. HQ. Tabuthi. Sure. Let me think.
I really like cards like Political Operative that just kind of sit there on the table and threaten your opponent. Netrunner has a really it can like travel in all sorts of different directions. The board state can.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cool. Did we lose you?
I did. Yeah, you did. Just for a second there. Do you have three indexings? Two, but
No,
you replayed.
I just same old thing to
Yeah, yeah,
node.
yeah. Still, six influence. It's a lot.
It is.
Any particular reason you've chosen to play Ken over Andromeda, Leela, something like that?
Because I'm a hipster. I'm just kidding.
Nice, nice.
Because Ken, I like Ken. Ken gives you more money, and I don't know. Everyone plays Andromeda. Andromeda with indexing doesn't give you a buck. uh, Clones are not people, or clones are people.
No, clones
Really,
are not people.
those are not people.
Clones are just keep in mind, clones aren't people.
Okay. How much does this thing cost? It's the same as this thing. Okay. Hmm. Does he have the third brain trust in hand? We'll find out. Oh, he does. Oh, Philotic. Yikes.
I hit some stuff. Ooh, I hit a siphon. I feel great about that.
It's pretty good. Hmm. How odd.
How odd. What could you mean by that?
So that's an R&D.
You just indexed me.
You can look. Yeah, well, I got to keep you off another token.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
So that's Jackson. Hmm.
I can look?
Yeah.
So how does this work? If once I have paid ability windows, even on your turn, I can use Jackson.
Hmm.
I guess that doesn't make any sense. Uh, you break everything?
Yeah.
Sweet. You still trashed it. Nice. Not like it really matters. You've got $12 on Katie and 23 credits. Kind of a lot.
Do 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 do.
Disable the corpse identity. No.
Hmm. Break both. Nope. There we go.
Got you down to 11 credits. You're really cornered now.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice job.
I was looking for my freaking. I had two legworks and they were in the bottom four cards.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
So annoying. GG.
Yeah, GG. That was fun. I
That was
enjoyed
fun.
that game. It was lively.
Yeah, I think Tenon suffers from the Wayland problem. Is like if your ID gets turned off, then
Then
you're just a really bad ID.
yeah.
Like you lean so hard on you lean really hard on it, right?
Yeah,
Like you have to
absolutely.
advance stuff. I didn't see any ice walls. I'm sure there's like one agenda maybe in archives. Is there one agenda in archives?
No, I don't think there is.
There was for a while though, right? Before you
Possibly.
Jacksoned. Okay. Yeah.
Possibly. No, I don't think I think that ultimately there wasn't. But there's 4 still in the deck. The
Yeah.
Niseis and then the one brain trust.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, there are a lot in there actually.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really like indexing and criminal.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really good.
It's just a strong card, though it's really bad right now. This is not a this is like an old meta deck. Like you can't play this against Moons. Moons just has
Right,
too many
because
ways
Moon's
to draw
supposed to be like,
cards.
now I'm gonna draw the cards.
Yeah, there's no
Man, a
way to
Stone
even.
Moon.
Yeah.
What a
Oh
piece,
well.
what a card. I think that Rumor Mill to me just kind of looks like a card that you don't want to touch with. You don't want to mess with, you know what I mean? It's doing something like so very specific.
Well, I I'm not the only person who thinks this, but that they have to have a card that specifically targets like broken cards tells you that there's a problem with some of the
I,
cards.
I think that you're absolutely right. Let me amend my statement.
Well, I think you're right. It's I don't like playing it because it feels like I have to if I want to win the Moon matchup. Like
Hmm.
I just have to like that's what it feels like
You
to
have to
me.
be able to turn off Moon,
Um,
yeah.
but granted, you don't have to play that card to win Moon matchup. Like I know there's a really good Atom list going around in local area, and it just like stomps Moon decks. Like because
How
they
does it do that?
well it doesn't use programs, so it just clicks through everything and accesses to from HQ, and they just flood out in HQ,
Oh, gotcha.
and it runs for free, basically like, it's got all sorts of weird tech in it, and it just doesn't ever install breakers. Like it's only got Overmind, and their best dice is Architect,
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, like you can break that. That's no problem. But it's like, yeah, they don't usually get their Architects that early. And there's only nine ice in those decks, so
I am
you
thinking
can really put pressure on.
about taking Moon. I'm thinking about that.
It's a good deck. It's
Yeah.
really good. I'm just bored with asset spam.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm not sitting here loving asset spam.
yeah, I just think it's boring. I find I don't get me wrong. I won an SC on asset spam. So
Hmm.
like if Chuck's listening and he's like, hey man, how dare you? It's like
Right, classic
I know.
hipster flip-flopping on the issues.
Yeah, no, I know. It was fun for a while, and then it got a little bit too much.
It did. I think that there's something kind of really inelegant about the way asset spam kind of like spills onto the table.
Yeah.
And I also think that,
It's also really bad for this program. Like since we were talking earlier about how awesome Jinteki was and how much love was put into the program, like they've changed the interface
hmm
just to deal with
right,
asset
moving the
spam.
screen back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really really annoying. Like they cut it off so that you have to scroll at the bottom or whatever, and you now can scroll up and down. It's just you can make your screen really really small to do it, which was the worst. It was worse for sure, but they've basically fixed it so that you can now play asset spam on it,
What do
which is not
you,
something I do. But it's you can't.
if you had a magic wand and you could just do anything to fix asset spam, what would you do?
Well, I'd unmake a couple cards.
Okay.
Like Mumbad City Hall gets unmade. Um, like probably like Mumba Temple gets unmade, and then a couple other cards that have their numbers way too high for no reason.
Hmm.
Um, like why does yellow have so many high to trash assets and upgrades
Yeah.
for no like why is Sand cost 5 to trash, for instance? Like it's so good, but like the new Oberth protocol, what costs 2 to trash, and it is arguably a worse version of that card.
Yeah, it
Even,
is. It's
it
not
costs an
arguably. I mean, it's
agenda.
objectively worse.
It's objectively worse. Okay, fair. I just like saying arguably because someone might want to argue it. But the idea is like, Wayland keeps getting these cards. It doesn't mean that every card has to be equal in power level. That's not what I'm saying. It's just like, it's like they've realized at some point that these cards can't cost that much to trash after the fact, because they're building the core set. They're like, oh, this works great with core,
Hmm.
but then like they just kept on making like DBS, and then they did some weird stuff with like CTM, which just made the first thing you trashed every turn cost effectively like 2 extra credits and a click.
Or maybe
It's
five
just even
credits or
worse.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whatever it is plus 2 credits and a click. Like that's way way more expensive than anything. Like it costs you tempo and a thing and 2 credits. Like come on, give me a break. So like they really didn't foresee or maybe they did and just didn't care that asset spam was so good, or not good, but just irritating. I think that's a problem. Like, at what point does the game uh, have to police itself for being irritating? Like, I think
I think that the game has to. It doesn't necessarily have to like totally eliminate, spicy or negative play experiences, but it
no,
does have to like stick to its
it's guns.
fundamentals, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like you can't, right? Like you could put sniper, right? Like you could give both teams in football, paintball guns, but all of a sudden you're not playing football anymore. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that
Well,
that,
maybe. I mean, that I don't know if that exactly works, but I think the idea is like if you said, okay, we're going to play football, but while this team is holding the ball, they have this much sleeker, faster, deflated ball or something like that. Like
what I guess what I'm trying
they
to
have
say
the
is that
Patriots ball.
even if you had some mathematical justification for like this decision is perfectly balanced, it's right, like we know mathematically it's 100% equal for whatever reason.
Yeah, sure.
Even then you could still criticize it because like, well, we're not playing football anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, it's not speaking about football, but
sure.
I didn't mean to complain about asset spam. I know everyone who knows me knows I complain about it a lot, but like the idea here is that there's got to be a better way. And I wish that the design team, when they look back on their stuff and they move forward with stuff, with Boggs moving forward,
Hmm.
that he takes a very hard look at the Mumbad cycle and does not try to repeat that, because it was trying to push on something that didn't exist before, and that was fine. That was fine. But when you do that, you're inherently trying to find where the seams are of the game,
Yes.
and
It also didn't give the runner any tools to push back.
it it didn't.
I mean, I think
That
it
is
just
a huge
completely
problem.
failed to like, and if I just sit down for like 10 minutes, I can just name a bunch of effects that hurt asset spam.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm playing two Salset Slums in this deck.
right. You can do salt.
Like,
Well, they had
you
okay,
know,
so it had Salset slums. The Mamba cycle had Salset slums.
yes, it did, but it was late.
It was late. And it was only in one faction, and that faction was kind of like already good at that stuff anyway.
Yeah. So I think if yeah, one of the things I think like if it's going to be something that is hating on a universal mechanic or a universal um, method of play, it needs to be universal card. Like if Salset Slums was just neutral, if it
Hmm.
was neutral one influence, fine.
Sure.
Like I had no problem with that card. Like I don't actually have a problem with Salset Slums at all. Like
I
it it's trying to do something that that makes sense. Like some things need to be removed from the game because they're super irritating. Like
Yeah.
condemn them to the ghetto or something like that. That's what they're trying to do. Like that the theme of the card or
Yeah, it's
something.
great.
But
Thematically, it works very well.
yeah, yeah. But then if you have it in only one faction, and that faction happens to also be good at the thing it's doing, like trashing
Right.
assets with one guy, then
Right.
you just have this imbalance, and it makes for a very bland experience. And
Can
I
you
think
think
that's what
of
my problem is with.
effects that would can you think of effects and then kind of pair them to the factions, right? So like asset hate on the runner or on the anarch side is we do it for cheaper. We can trash stuff for cheaper.
Hmm.
We can punish you for rezzing things in
Well,
hacktivist meeting.
sure.
We can blank your stuff and remove it from the game.
Yeah. Um, well, I don't think removing things from the game is or not well, even removing things from the game, but I don't think like asset hate is a faction thing. I mean, you have that green card, was it Paricia, that hates on assets, and it's in Shaper. It costs an MU,
Yeah.
but it's still good, and
No,
it's
no, no.
a
It is, and
but
I
like
expect
so
to see a lot of it.
what I mean is that the a fundamental core aspect of the game can't be um, faction specific. The theme and flavor can be. So like in like Scrubber, for instance, in Anarch is really thematic because it's like these random dudes who bring in to like scrub the servers to make sure that they're
Right.
clean, right? Like that's what the anarchs do. That's their way of doing it. You know,
I
Parisia is
think
the
that you can have mechanical slants on things. I think that the factions can have mechanical variation that's lively and robust and helpful for.
but this card isn't functionally different from Parisia. The only thing that's different is the flavor. It's a resource as opposed to a program. So like, shapers like programs. They're just all about their programs, and anarchs are all about their resources, I guess. But
I'm willing to chalk that up to a mechanical difference. Like right, that to me represents some mechanical difference.
okay, well, I'll agree to disagree. But
Sure.
I think that the issue is that if you take a card or take an idea of the game and say like it's trashing assets or it's just dealing with asset spam,
Hmm.
it needs to be uh, you need to be able to work around it in each faction. So if there's no way to do it in criminal, like if the only way to do it is like desperado, lots of money.
Hmm.
um, I think that's a reasonable way to deal with it. um, they gave him a ton of money, so why not? That makes sense.
Hmm.
um, then in shaper we have, I guess, one card that does that, but nothing else. I don't know if that's okay, but we have like
What's
three
it
or four,
called?
five different ways, and
Astrolabe.
Astrolabe, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a way to deal with it. But and actually it is. It's a very good way to deal with it. That's a good point.
I don't
Um,
think I do really think that there's kind of a critical mass of these types of cards on the runner side, or excuse me, on the within Anarch, that kind of is lacking in the other two factions.
yeah, yeah, I think that's true. But even still, with what's lacking, we have to take into account the action economy of the corporation, and the corporation is sped up so much. And we look at a card like Estelle Moon, which is it effectively crammed. It almost like multiplies. It does multiplies the cards you draw by well, gets you a card for each token. It multiplies your credits by 2 for everything you've installed. So, or multiplies the credits on it. So
Basically, what it
it's
says is instead your clicks now instead of doing one thing, they now do four things.
it does everything. Like if you think of that card, it does everything. All you
Yeah,
do in this game is you gain money, you draw cards, and you install stuff.
right.
It rewards you for installing stuff. It gains you money for doing that, and it draws you cards.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, is the same problem of modular design that like Damon was complaining about with Aaron being too good and Jackson. Like, what does Jackson do? Oh, it draws stuff. Oh, does it help you install stuff? Yeah, because you draw more things. Does
Hmm.
it save you from installing stuff that you don't want to install? Yeah, because you can discard them. Like, it does
Yeah.
those things. Aaron is a kind of the same kind of thing. Like, it draws you more things. It saves you the action economy of having to click to remove tags. It like works with Siphon really well.
You're
It's
absolutely
all
right
these
to point
things.
out that if they continue to double down on draw effects, the game will just kind of continue to spiral out of control, inevitably.
Hmm.
Limiting draw power on this game is extremely important. I mean, it was true of Magic, right? Like Magic ran into the exact same problem. You can't have too much draw power out there, or the game will burst.
Yeah, well, I mean, Magic has a couple other problems right now. Like, for instance, I don't know if you played
I haven't.
Standard or Modern or anything like that, but it's kind of dominated by a couple of archetypes. Like, there's Sahili combo, which is really, really good, and there's like there's Aetherworks Marvel in Standard, uh, which is incredibly powerful. Basically, they created this new resource. So you know how you have credits in Netrunner, right? It's like basically like credits, but certain cards will give you credits.
Hmm.
It's this called energy, and you spend that using other cards. And Aetherworks Marvel, you spend 6 energy, and you look at the top 6 cards, I think, of top of your deck, and
Hmm.
you can cast that any of those cards,
For
one of
free.
them for free. And so you just cast
Jesus.
Ulamog and exile 2 of their permanents, and you can do this as early as turn 5.
If
So
Ulamog's in the top six.
yeah, well, they run 4, but also the thing
Yeah,
is
that
they
makes
have so
sense.
many cards that cycle, or not cycle, but give them more energy and lets them do this all the time. Like it's not a sorcery speed effect. You can do it on the opponent's turn, then untap and do it again. Like you can just gain value and value and value. And there's like a big outcry right now, like whether this card should be banned because it's just warping the meta and it's clearly too much action economy. And it is. It's way too much action economy. Whether it's like not, too much power for standard, I don't know. I'm not gonna make that call. Whether it should be banned, I don't know. But like the idea is that if you have a thing that is warping the meta, like a single thing that's warping the meta, it's a problem. And from now till Nats, we won't see any changes in the meta. We won't at all. Well, it'll be these moon decks. We'll probably see, maybe one fringe deck show up that's really good at dealing with moon being played by some very clever designer or clever deck builder or something like that.
Right.
But like we might even see the return of hot tubs. Like for instance, there's so little ways to deal with asset spam. What people are doing is they're just like loading up on legworks or like RDIs and just like locking R&D to deal with it, or they're just trying to contest the remote. Like it's really hard to do that because they play Caprice in those decks anyway. But
right.
the idea is like, what do? You have to find another way around that one card, and I don't know. Is that too good? I'll let everyone else decide, but I think it should just probably be like, I don't know, maybe MWL or something like that. And maybe that won't even do anything. It'll just mean they can't play one Caprice. Like it won't do anything.
Well, if they put it on the 3 MWL, that'll hurt it a lot, right?
Yeah.
Then ETF will be down to what is it?
Then it can't play Caprice.
6 influence. They could play 2 Caprice and that's it.
I guess so. If you cut a couple other things.
Yeah, you'd have to cut the architects.
Yeah. I don't know. Like these nine ice decks with like 22 to 24 assets, it bummed me out a little bit, man. I find them like just not. I say this like because I've been saying this with in Destiny 2. Destiny's going through a little bit of growing pains. Like I love that game, but it's going through growing pains too. But the idea is like, is that what you signed up for? And I don't know if it is for me. That's why I'm playing all these old decks. Like I really like these old decks. I like Glacier. Glacier's great.
Yeah, I mean Glacier's the name of the game, right? I mean like there's an entire suite, like there's an entire subset of card on the Corp side that is right, like both the Corp and the Runner have like these ice breaking avenue cards, right? Like they're in this like very specific run framework.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah. If we chased everyone away in the chat, are we getting like a lot of hate from it?
No,
like
we're pretty much just talking amongst ourselves at this point.
Oh, everyone's left.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I guess for me, Glacier is the core of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the corp sets the tone, and I don't mind if there's some fringe decks that are asset spammy, provided that they are not leagues better than the core of the game.
Yeah.
Like if they become the core of the game, then I start going, do I want to chance it to play a game and probably run up against another Estel Moon deck or like another Tubbs deck or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, is that worth it? I don't know. Like then I start thinking like, what else can I be doing? And I start, want to go play another game, play Destiny or something like that. But anyway, that game's having a lot of problems right now. Not a lot, but it's having some problems. It's got a couple of key cards that they've been looking at as they might ban. Who knows? They're very like.
Are they really going to ban them?
I would guess yes, because Lucas Litzinger has said that they are actively trying to police that game because it does not have the time frame that Netrunners had. You can't release cards to combat other cards in the same way. It's not a meta thing like that. It's like they're good decks, they're okay decks, and then new sets come out and then it shifts and there's good decks and there's okay decks. But if there's one deck that's far and above everything else, then everyone's gonna be playing that deck.
Yeah.
And then that's a problem, because they want to have not like a 75% diversity of one deck and then like 25% of something else of other decks. That's not cool. That's not fun. So, I mean, they're looking at it. So I don't know. we'll see. It's the deck in question is uh, Maz Po. It's really really good.
That game is really fun. I gotta
It is
admit,
fun.
that game is real slick.
It's fun.
I think that
It,
that's got to. It's gonna be all the time that we have this evening.
okay. Sorry
Thanks
for
for
my
hanging out,
ranting.
man. No worries, no
Yeah.
worries. It's perfect.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
All right. Take care.
Bye.